It's Tony Gonzalez from Made in Metal, and today we are going to talk to David DeFeis from Virgin Steele, but it's because, David, but you will tell me, how are you?
I am good. I'm good. I hope you're well also. Yeah.
Yes. So last year, in some interviews, you declared that there was a plan to have a new edition of Guardian of the Flame. And hopefully it will appear this year, 2024, along with the first album. Tell me, David, what can we find on these new editions?
All right. Yes, it's most definitely happening, and it will be out. Both will be out on August 23rd. So a few weeks from now. On both albums, the original songs have all been remixed, not just remastered, remixed from the basic multi-track. And in addition, I added several things I found on Guardians of the Flame, a long lost crazy piano solo that I did called Chaos Caprice. It's 1 minute and 3 seconds of violent piano playing that's on there. In addition, there is on that record is a new alternate version of the song Desert Plains that we originally did on Age of Consent. Speaking of Age of Consent, is a brand new song that I wrote for Age of Consent back then when Age of Consent we were doing it, called Dirty Blonde Angel. Never did anything with it, forgot about the song, and I was thinking about what am I going to put on this record as bonus stuff. So I was like, that one came to mind. I was on the phone with Edward, and I started playing it over the phone. It was, oh yeah, I remember that one. That's good. Let's do that one. So we did that one. And also on the record, which ends the record, is a thing I call the Heaven's Door Suite. Now, what that is basically a reworked, rewritten version of the song Knocking on Heaven's Door, combined with some other things and some new music that I had come up with. So that's why it's the Heaven's Door Suite. So that's the second album. On the first record, I included this song Lothlorien, which originally was just a piano piece, but on this version, I did more orchestration with it, so it's more orchestral. And then on that record also is a crazy track called Hell from Beyond the Stars, which is written in the spirit of things like we did for Exorcist or Original Sin. It's got that thrashy doom thing going on with a spoken demonic vocal. After that, there is a new alternate version of the Fire God, which was originally on Age of Consent Act 1. It's a new version. And then there is a brand new version of the song Virgin Steele, because I wanted to do something from the original record, just reborn, redone. And I thought, well, what makes the most sense? I thought, well, that one does, because it's the name of the band, A, and B, it sort of has all those elements of what we did after that gothic thing, that barbaric romantic thing. And so that's a new rewritten version for this anniversary reissue edition.
Yes, the original Virgin Steele has a part and orchestral parts. So in this version, did you change a little or add new orchestral parts?
I did, yes. Somewhere along the way, now and again, I added some other additional bits and pieces. Now and again, it was because something might have happened to the original tape, but other times it was just because, why not? I hear that there, and if what was available now to us was available then, I would have done that. So I did it. What I wanted to do was preserve the original mood, the original feel, the original fire and attitude of both records, just make them a bit more clear sonically for the ear, so you could understand more of what was going on these versions.
On both records, the guitar player was Jack Starr, was
yes.
the beginning of the band. And tell me, David, what do you remember about him involved in the creation and developing of Virgin Steele?
Well, when I originally met Jack, I thought he didn't speak English. It was very funny because I had met Joey Evasian first, and we were supposed to go to a studio and all jam together, you know. And I went to the studio. Nobody's there. So this is the days before cell phones. So I had to ask the owner of the studio, "Can I use your phone?" Yes, yes. And I call up Joey. He said, "What's up? Where are you guys?" He said, "Oh yeah, you know, we screwed up, you know, whatever." I said, "Oh, all right. Well, why don't you come over to my house?" And he says, I had a setup there. I said, "All right." He comes over and he hears me play, and he invites Jack over, and Jack comes down the stairs. And I remember for some reason, I guess he didn't say anything. I just heard that he was from France, and I assumed he didn't speak English, but he did speak English, and we started immediately. They liked me, and what happened after that was, they heard me, but I had not heard them. We weren't jamming together. They were just listening to me. So I said, "Let's arrange for a jam." We arranged for a jam, and I showed up. Jack is there. Joey is not there. Some other bass player and drummer are there who I didn't know, and another guy who also played guitar and sang. And we jammed. And I said to Jack, "I like you, but I'm not so sure about these other guys. And I want to hear this Joey guy who I met, because I like Joey straight away." And he said, all right. So I said, "I got a bass player, and I got this guy, Joe O." So I arranged for them to come to my place again, and I had Joe there. Joey came, and Jack, and we played for the first time, and it worked. 3 weeks later, we were in the studio making that first record. So it worked. We all clicked then.
Yes, but I read a story that said that you were taken in the band because you sang the classic Child in Time impersonating Ian Gillan as the best. Is true? And what do you remember from this time?
Yeah, well, when they arrived at my house and I had all my gear set up and I played for them, I did play that. I played Child in Time, and I also sang and played No Quarter by Led Zeppelin. Yeah, and I believe I also did Catch the Rainbow from Rainbow. Yeah.
Yes.
And they liked it. Yeah, it was cool. I had a huge PA and had my keyboards and everything, so it was very, over the top, screaming metal.
There is a song in this recording, in the first recording, that now, where the times are passing by, I discover that maybe it doesn't completely match with the epic storytelling of the album. I'm talking about American Girl. Please tell me about this song, how this song was included in the CD.
Oh, I didn't write that one. Jack wrote that one. That was the other side of what we were doing in those very early days. Some of the stuff is very bluesy, which we still do bluesy things, but it's a little more darker what we do now in the blues vein. But yeah, so songs like American Girl, Dead End Kids, Pictures on You, they're more like hard rock in the bluesy, hard rockish vein. Yeah, the other stuff was definitely more in the metal zone, like Danger Zone, Virgin Steel, Children of the Storm, and such. It was just, we were only together 3 weeks, and we were just trying to put together, whatever material we could craft together. And Jack had some stuff that he had written on his own, and the rest of the band was like, okay, let's learn it. And when we went into the studio, we knew it, so let's do it. Why not? And that's how American Girl came about. But yeah, it's very different than anything else. But it is still performed with the same violence as anything else on the record, like Children of the Storm or whatever. So we were all still 4 wild maniacs in the studio trying to get something on tape.
The sound of American Girl is more American sound, but you always try to be more European, more epic, more power. Yes?
Well, yeah, I mean, that's the direction I always wanted to go in. I like things that are more bombastic, over the top. I love classical music, opera, and all kinds of stuff. So that's the direction that I wanted to go in. But again, that's like, those are the early days. So that was sort of like, on one hand, you had bands like Zeppelin and Queen and Deep Purple and whatnot. Then you also had bands like Van Halen, which were definitely more American sounding and whatnot, even though two of the guys were from Holland, but they changed along the way over the years as well. So yeah, that was just part of the ethos of what we were doing at that given moment. And we weren't going to stay there forever, but you know, we progressed and moved into other directions.
Yes, the original album was not as polished as your later album, but
Yeah.
it is an interesting piece of Virgin Steele history and the power metal genre as a whole. Do you agree?
Yeah, it was not meant to be a record per se. That was supposed to be only we thought, okay, we're going to go in the studio, make demos. We'll get some money, then we'll go back and figure out what the record's going to be, re-record everything. But after we made those recordings, we started taking cassette copies, sending them around the world. People were starting to like it. So we said, all right, well, maybe then this is the record. It's done. So we got some money together, pressed up vinyl, and that sold out immediately, pressed up another batch of 5,000 each time, and that sold out also really, really quickly. And actually, before that second batch was sold out, we already had our deal with Music for Nations in Europe and Mongol Horde in the States. So it just, you know, it just blossomed. That's what that record was, you know, with all its whatever mistakes that were on it. That was our demo. It went out there and people liked it. So it's got something. It's got a certain charm. It's got a certain innocence, a certain beauty, and a great deal of energy. And I think that's what people respond to. So in bringing the record back to life now, what I wanted to do is remix it, keep all those wonderful elements that we had arrived at when we first did it, but make it more sonically understandable to the ear. That was my goal.
When Music for Nation pay attention to Virgin Steele, Music for Nation was nothing, no recording, and you confide in Music for Nation confide in the band. Tell me, how was this process? How did you decide to be the first release in Music for Nation?
Yeah, there were two gentlemen over there. There was Steve, Martin Hooker and Steve Mason, and they had another company. I think they were called Food for Thought, and they were also doing something with the Twisted Sister people. So we heard of them. They got wind of us, and we sent them cassettes or whatever. And they said, we're forming a new label. We'd like you to be on the label, and you're actually going to be MFN1, Music for Nations 1, the very first release on the label. And we were like, great, let's go. They offered us, made us a deal, and we accepted. And after they signed us, then they signed Wasp, Metallica, Rat, Merciful Fate, Manowar. Like everybody was on that label after us. Yeah, it was an interesting moment for us.
Now that you mentioned Manowar, so there was, I consider that there was no reason, but there was a moment that Virgin Steele, the people compare Virgin Steele and Manowar. Why do you think this happened?
I don't know. You know, we both come from New York. You know, I think both groups have a similar philosophy or similar attitude towards music, both very aggressive, over the top. And I think, you know, they like classical music and bombasticness, and we always did as well. And yeah, maybe the voices were somewhat similar now and again on certain songs for whatever reason. You know, it's not like anyone was listening to each other, trying to copy anyone. It just naturally what was in the water in New York that year when we were growing up. I don't know. So, but you know, I have no issues with it because they're a great band, wonderful band. We became friendly with them over the years and you know whatnot.
Yes, I discovered in this new edition a demo from Burn the Song. And what does it mean? Does it mean that this song wasn't selected to be in the first Virgin Steele recording and passed to Guardian of the Flame?
What we did was after we made the first record, the demo, which became the record, we went into, that was an 8-track studio. We went backwards and we went into a small 4-track studio and did these other demos. We did Burn the Sun, we did Life of Crime, and we did a song called The Lesson, which doesn't appear anywhere. And they were really rough, really raw sounding recordings because the studio was very, very primitive. And we decided, you know, let's use them. I decided to put them on the first record. Why not? Because it's connected to that history. It's first record, then those 4-track demos, then Guardians happened. So yeah, we kind of reworked Burn the Sun and Life of Crime for the Guardians of the Flame record. It's they're both maybe a bit more less wild, but a more tighter, more solid. Yeah, not as frenetic.
Now is the confession, David. David, the first Virgin Steele recording I listened was Guardian of the Flame. A friend of mine in Havana, Cuba, has the tape, and he gave me the tape. When I listened Virgin Steele, I passed years looking for the band. There in Cuba. In Cuba, no recordings, no record sales, no record companies. And finally, with the computers and the MP3, I could find more music about Virgin Steele. This is the reason why, to me, Guardian of the Flame, I love Guardian of the Flame. And in this new Guardian of the Flame edition, in the bonus tracks, there is a song called I Am the One. I would like to know where this song was taken from.
Oh, well, you missed a lot of history. Okay. After we did Guardians of the Flame, we did 2 EPs, one Cry in the Night, one Wait for the Night. And they had slightly different songs. One had a Cry in the Night, and one had Don't Say Goodbye, and they had I Am the One was on there, Go Down Fighting was on there, and a song called Wait for the Night was on there. Those were all done immediately after we did, like within a few months of finishing Guardians of the Flame. So it was all done like that 83 era right there. So I thought, well, they should be added because that's all, you know, keeping the flow of history correct.
The first song is Don't Say Goodbye Tonight. Some people think that Virgin Steele never write songs about love in this sense, in the sense of the lyrics, Don't Say Goodbye Tonight. Please tell us.
That's not true. On every album, pretty much, there's always some kind of romantic situation. Usually it ends in death, but it's still there. Yeah. Yeah, if you go to Noble Savage, there are songs of, if not necessarily love, definitely sex, sensuality. Age of Consent probably has more love type songs, lyrics like that, like Crying the Night, not Crying That, Cry Forever, Tragedy. Those are romance songs, relationship songs, relationships gone wrong songs. So that's always been there, as well as all the gods and goddesses and so on and so forth. Blood, fire, death.
Yes, on the contrary, when I listened to the Redeemer, the original version, I started thinking that the band will be some kind of white metal, a Catholic band, but it wasn't. Tell me, how did you take the inspiration for the Redeemer?
I don't really rightly remember, you know, how it, and just we were into, you know, many styles of and many genres back then, from, like I said, classical music to opera to, you know, really deep blues stuff, and all the hard rock and early metal that was around then, from, you know, Zeppelin, Black Sabbath, Mountain, Grand Funk Railroad, Queen. I was in love with, you know, bands of that nature. So I guess it just sort of, that was, Jack had some bits, some riffs, and then I had some bits, and we got together and put them together and made this epic track. Same with the song Guardians of the Flame. He had some stuff, I had some stuff. We got together and fused it together and showed the rest of the guys, and off we went.
Yes. But anything related to Christian metal?
I mean, it's growing up where we did, or where I did, you were exposed to that sort of thing. I never made my confirmation. I quit religious instruction. It was kind of like forced on me as a child, and it wasn't something I took very well to. I had a lot of questions and whatnot, so I ended up quitting that whole thing. But I did find the stories interesting, and they could be made very powerful within the heavy metal framework. So that's where that fusion, I guess, came about, the lyrics for that. Yeah, kind of a thing.
Last year, in 2023, the band was at Leyendas del Rock here in Spain.
Yes.
Yes, what are your memories about this concert?
I had a wonderful evening. It was a great time. The people were absolutely fantastic. I think when we arrive in that part of the world, it seems like the audience is very, very open to different things than some other parts of the world that we've gone and visited. They seemed to really enjoy when we did Snakeskin Voodoo Man, of all things, which I really was happy about. It was cool because I love the blues, you know. So yeah, I think they were with us every step of the way, and I was honored by them, and I was very happy to be there, and I hope we can come back and do it again.
I was there, and to me it was very interesting because your band is not the band that usually visits Spain. For example, I have been living here in Spain for 15 years, and I don't remember a concert of Virgin Steele.
We did play in the normal club venues in, I guess it was 2013, 14, somewhere around that. I remember we did about 5 or 6 dates in Spain. Yeah, as just one-offs. We just flew over, did just Spain, those 5 or 6 dates, and came back. I'm not sure of the, I have to look that up. I think it's around when I mentioned.
After 40 years, your voice is in good shapes. You are in good shapes also. And tell us, please, what is the recipe to maintain the voice in a good level and even the body? Because when you come to Spain, you can see that the Spanish are more fatty than you.
Thanks, brother. I appreciate that. I do exercise, you know. I do drink wine, mostly red wine. I like wine. That's something I have to be aware of. But I do exercise a lot, and I do try to take care of the voice, eat right, and through exercise, and try to listen to what it's doing so I can respond correctly to it. Because sometimes it wants to do what it wants to do, and you have to say, "Well, you got to go that way then."
Yes, and now that those recordings are going to be released, I just thinking of singing some of the song, playing some of the song in concert on tour.
I would like to do some of them. Yeah, I would like to. I think gradually we're going to start bringing some of those tracks in. Yeah. We've got, I mean, God, there's so many songs, so many albums, so it's difficult to arrive at a set list that's going to please everyone, you know, but we try to jump around and get a little bit of everything in there.
Yes. Now that I see that I can see you in the screen very light, my screen is dark, but the problem is that here we are having 40 degrees.
Oh.
And then I hide in the dark, and even though I am Sweden.
It's very, very warm where I am also. We use the Fahrenheit system, so it's like, I guess today is in the 80s, going towards the 90s, but I do have a swimming pool, so I will swim. So that's also good exercise and keeps one cool. I don't like air conditioning. There's only one air conditioner in my house in one room. That's it. So I have a spinning fan that's going on right now.
So, David, those are our questions. Thank you very much for your time. I really appreciate this interview.
My pleasure, sir. Thanks for your questions.
Yes, if you want to say goodbye to the audience, this is your moment.
Hey, Spain, thank you for enjoying our show last year. We hope to see you again. Thank you for listening to Virgin Steele all these many years. By the gods and goddesses to you all. Cheers.
So, David, thank you very much. Hope to see you again in concert.
I hope so. Thank you. Okay.
Bye.
Ciao, ciao. Bye. Bye-bye.